Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Charlie's Journey YouTube channel. I'm Charlie, and if you are new here and this is the first time you've stumbled across my video, welcome. I hope that you like what you see and you consider subscribing. And to all my nearly 300 subscribers, I can't believe it, guys. Thank you so much for supporting me. You know how much it means to me. So yeah, let's get into today's video. This video was inspired by a number of comments I've had inquiring as to whether the JW religion was all bad. Like, you just caught hell being part of it. Was there nothing good in it? I think I've had a couple of current Jehovah's Witnesses ask me as well, am I saying there was nothing good when I was part of the religion? So I said I'll make a video on it. So that's what this video is. Let's get straight into it. I've got my notes here. So first things first, one of the positive things that I can definitely say I am grateful for are some of the memories that I had with the average normal congregation members that are part of the organisation. I, growing up, was in a number of different congregations, and even actually as an adult, I have been in a number of different congregations. So I know quite a few people, even if I don't know them on an intimate or really close basis. I am acquainted with loads and loads of different people, and I know a lot of different people. So I've made memories with people over the years, from childhood, going on family vacations and doing get-togethers and going to weddings, and you know, just different events I can think of that I really cherished growing up, because I had a number of friends, and yeah, we just made memories. So one positive thing was the community that I was part of, and I think that's what makes this whole journey so difficult, and has made it so difficult, is because there are still people that are in the organisation that I really, really care about. I don't, because I wouldn't have been able to say that. Side point, I wouldn't have been able to say that a little while ago, because I had a lot of resentment, I had a lot of anger and hurt, because everyone no longer speaks to me or has anything to do with me. So there was a lot of resentment there. But through my healing journey, I've come to have a bit more compassion, because I was once like them. I used to think like them, and I probably would have behaved like them if the shoe was on the other foot, had I not left, if you know what I mean. So there are still people I care about deeply in the organisation, because I've made some, you know, really good memories, and I've had people that have, a couple of people anyway, not a lot, but I've had a handful of people that have really helped me get through the really dark times that I've talked about in my previous videos of why I left the organisation in the first place. So I have people that are dear to me because they in some way helped to support me during some of those times. So of course they've done nothing to me, they're just following their religion, they're following what they've been taught, which is Charlie's no longer a JW, therefore we can't have anything to do with her until she returns. There you go. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, although Jehovah's Witnesses have very strict morals, very high moral standards, and their rules for being able to remain in the congregation, the standards for that and the rules are very high. The rules are high? The standards for that are very high. I can definitely say that there is obviously pros to that. There are definitely some cons, because yes, as I've spoken about, I found it very difficult to live up to certain standards, and I did make a number of mistakes that I had to be disciplined for. But I definitely, growing up, and especially when I did become an adult, and looking back now that I've got my own children, I can definitely say, yeah, I'm very grateful that certain moral principles and values were instilled in me from a very young age, because it prevented me from experiencing things way too early as a child, I wasn't exposed to or getting involved with anything that the kids my age in school were getting involved with, for instance. Because in my school particularly, children were doing things from a very young age. From probably the age of 12, 13, they were already doing the majority of what most adults do, the majority of it. So I was prevented from getting involved with those things, which meant I kept myself quite safe, and I remained a child, basically. I remained a child and untainted from those type of things. And as I said, I do value that. And looking back, especially as I said, the age I am now, I feel that there's slight arrested development when it comes to my life experience in the world, the real world, because I've been in a sheltered bubble for nearly 30 years where things were done a very certain way, and I was kept away from a lot of what everybody else is exposed to in the real world, basically. This next point piggybacks off my first point, which is that the environment that I was in for nearly 30 years and the teachings and everything else very much helped me to know how to get along with people of all backgrounds, ages, walks of life, and things like that. As a result of being a JW and there being a lot of emphasis around being loving with one another, because you see, JWs are very loving when you're in it, when you're part of the group, but obviously the second you decide for yourself that it's just not for you, or whatever, you have the freedom to leave, then obviously you lose all the benefit of that. But you're taught how to get along with your fellow congregation members, no matter what age they are, what race they are, no matter what, basically across the board. I feel that that's helped me to be somebody who is able to get along with everybody, and I do. I can get along with pretty much anyone, basically. The next point is JWs are subjected to some very rigorous training when it comes to their door knocking, their preaching and their Bible teaching work. And like I mentioned in one of my videos, I can't remember, but you are trained, you're encouraged to join the Theocratic Ministry School, which is their training program, where weekly you participate and contribute and get involved with demonstrations where you all centered around basically their preaching. Yeah, it's all centered around training you to be able to preach. And I was involved in that school from probably the age of 5 or something like that, all the way up until I left. And I would say that training, I can definitely say, has benefited me, because you're taught how to communicate effectively, you're taught how to speak to people, you're taught how to overcome objections when you're conversing with people. You're critiqued as part of that training. You will literally get up, demonstrate your preaching assignment that they give you each week. Everybody gets, a turn in rotation to be able to demonstrate their preaching assignment. And it's a couple minutes, that you're up there on the platform with whoever it is that you're demonstrating it with. So let's say 5 minutes max, and then you're off. And then you're actually critiqued in front of the whole congregation as to how well you did doing that demonstration. So they literally will go through and say, yeah, you spoke too quickly, or no, you're speaking a bit too slow, or you ran over time, you were given an allotted time, which is, like I said, let's say 5 minutes. And if you go over that time, they used to actually have a buzzer when we were younger that would go off, and you would have to leave the platform. Some people carried on and finished their assignment, saw it through, but others would just stop halfway through their sentence and just get off the platform because you've run over time. but yeah, you'd be critiqued on that. You ran over time, that wasn't good. You need to next time stick to the time allotted. You'd be literally, even in your appearance, you could be critiqued on how you were dressed for your assignment, if they thought that you maybe were a bit too scruffy or immodest or whatever. But you were critiqued for that whole thing. So having that type of training for nearly 30 years definitely has benefited me in my ability to communicate, for instance, because I see it as a transferable life skill. When it came to things like job interviews for me, or even just being in the work environment, I was always complimented on my interviews. I think literally, and I've had a lot of job interviews, and I think probably, I can probably say on one hand, the amount of people that have rejected me, but once I've had an interview. Once I get to the interview stage, I can, as I said, on one hand count how many companies have been like, oh no, you know, it's whatever. The point is that definitely has helped me in my life. That training has definitely benefited me, so I can say that that's definitely been a positive. And the last point is some of the teachings that they have on family life and relationships, I can say, were useful. For instance, you know, how to communicate in the family, effective communication in marriage and you know, with your children, how to spend quality time with your children, that, you know, you should work together in the home, how you can resolve issues in families and in relationships in general. And again, having come out of it and having my own family and, you know, relationships, friendships and things like that, I can definitely say that the teachings and the principles that were instilled in me from a very young age, of course I don't use everything that the JWs taught me, of course I don't, but that I can definitely say, when I can think of what I've picked out and that I still use in my life today, that is definitely one of them. I still can think back to certain articles that were written about how to deal with a certain issue, and you know, it did work. It did work for me. So certain things I definitely still use in my life today. Those are the things for me that I could immediately think of. There may be more, but those are the main things that I can definitely say I still use and I found of value, and where I can say that the religion was not all bad. I am definitely grateful for certain things that I was taught. So hopefully that answers that question for those that were asking. And of course, if you have any other questions, I answer all my emails. I try to get back to all my comments. I love interacting with all of you. So yeah, if you have any further questions or points on this particular video, do let me know. And like I said, if you are new, please subscribe on this healing journey I'm on. I hope you'll come along, and I upload videos every Wednesday and Sunday, so look out for my next one, and until then, I'll see you guys in my next video.